Mic check. Oh, well, hey, welcome to the Betterment Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. Big up Melody Goddess, important contributor to the show. Well, let me get a show ready for you. Let's see if I need to. I haven't actually named these files yet. Oh dear. Let's find the PDF before we stress. All right, there we go. So this is the 197th show. Oh dear, look at that. That's 197 times we have worked with the community to try to find a solution. Don't forget to tell a friend we're live. So, Blackberry building, follow the Instagram. There it is. So, what do? We're trying to, we deal with the white supremacy, anti-black racism, and Ma'afa. We call it the triple tragedies. And that causes a double dilemma, which is we are despised and disorganized. And that means we need a single solution, which is Black Betterment. This show promotes Black Betterment, the lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. It's very simple, but not simple enough. Good evening, family. Yeah, big up to Brother Dominic, another important contributor. That's right. Very close to 200 show. We have to think what we want to do for that one special celebration. There are 200 attempts. There you go. It's not bad, eh? Right. So also, where are we? We focus on Black families, Black economics, and Black health. That's very important, and that's why we tend to repeat ourselves many times, but that's important. We call it the triple triumphs. Now, what are we dealing with? Yeah. So when we're gonna send the link out. And when we do, don't forget about the 4D values, which is discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Apps come off, please. There you go. Oh, is that working? Yes, working. All right, cool. Go away. There you go. All right, just try to use derogatory language unless we're doing a case study. It just causes confusion. But yeah, mate, let's begin. Tell your friends, tell a friend we're live. Last week we had discussions with two brothers and sisters who are part of the biracial community, one Black parent. I don't know if we got to the end of it, but we did invite them back. I don't know if they're going to come back. One of the sisters did try to speak to me in direct messages. And it's very interesting to unpack stuff, but it's definitely something we want to continue. So if your family out there want to continue, you can. But to this week topics, we have two, which are Black economic support. We discuss solutions for the Black people for Black people who are attacked at establishments owned by other communities. Tongue twister them. And number two is useful definitions of colorism and shadeism. We discuss the dynamics and definitions of both colorism and shadeism. I think I was looking on Google and stuff, and there seem to be synonymous, but I think it might be necessary for us to make a distinction, and I'll break down why and how that might be beneficial. So let me hold on. I did have a lot of what I can do is I'm going to play some videos, and actually give me time to name some of the videos as well. So what we do before we start topics, and don't forget to tell a friend we're live. We're going to give us the Black Betterment perspective on random videos that come up on the internet that might be connected to Black stuff or other stuff. Where am I now? So I need to go to preset. Let's see if I can. Let me play the first random video. Where is this? The shows. 90. Here we go. Let's see what we can have. What's this one about? Let's see. Oh no, that's actually important. Let me rename. 02. Let's put 02 for now. Sorry about that, guys. For flip. There you go. Yeah, that's actually what the show's about. I haven't named it. No, I lost it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what can we? We'll start. This is something that comes in. Let's see this one first.
That if you think Ta-Nehisi Coates and Nicole Hannah-Jones represent the views of most Black people, you need to get to know more Black people. Efforts to defund the police are being pushed by activists and liberal elites who claim to be speaking on behalf of low-income minorities. But as the polling shows, they're mainly speaking for themselves. Most Blacks, for example, support voter ID laws and school choice, while most Black elites...
When a brother or sister says Blacks and not people, usually that comes from hanging around non-Black people and watching content that describes Black people or African people or melanated people as Blacks. So you can always tell when someone talks that way, they might not be that synchronized in their ideology. And I think that's what I wanted to highlight. But he started by talking about some brothers and sisters who had to do some active work, and I think he's trying to say they don't represent Black people. Very important thing to know where unsynchronized Black people want to represent Black people, which is fine. But then we say we want to represent the best interests of Black people and Black people only. And that's what makes you actually stand out. Like, no, this is for Black people distinctively. I think what's this about? Is he talking about he doesn't believe in defunding the police, something like that. Let's kind of listen while I try to name these files.
Your academics, your NAACP, your Black Lives Matter activists, and so forth oppose those things. Most blacks oppose racial preferences in college admissions. A Gallup poll released in 2020 found that 81% of blacks nationwide said they wanted police presence in their neighborhood to remain the same or to increase.
All right. Let me just type white mum. So, yeah, hold on. Let's write. You're going to name some of these videos. All right, woman to the rescue. Let's play that one. That'll be good. Woman. Hold on. Done. Yeah. So So that's So you can always tell when a brother might be slightly unsynchronized with their behavior patterns, and what they say, and they give away by terms they use. What did I call this one? F. Oh man, where's it gone? F. Maybe it's woman. I thought. Oh, it's that one. There it is. Is this where
Mixing them trousers around young girls, right? And stop speaking loud. Stop acting scary, because you're not. Jump off the train with me at the next point. Jump off with me and then stop talking loud then. Jump off with me. If you're going to speak so loud, we're going to take you away from all the passengers. And we're going to come off next station. Right, then we're going to carry on the conversation. Don't shout next to the young girls. It's haram, brother. Is it? That's why I spoke. Do you understand? You don't get it, no? You're a nitty. Your pupils are bleeding, brother.
Yeah, that's because I'm that guy.
You're not that guy.
I'm doing what I want, bro.
You're not that guy.
Off the train.
After what that boy did to the little girl in Croydon, we ain't messing around with these weirdos no more. You get it? Because you guys were there, and then there was more girls over that side. But when I looked at him, he's fixing his trousers way too many times before. He's flexing, that's fine. But when I looked around at the age group of the women, they were all underage. So that's why I spoke. And I will speak and I will go off the train on myself if I have to for that. Because then, how old are you, young lady? Sorry to involve you. How old are you?
I'm 15.
15. Those girls have gone. How old are you, lot? 15. Are you mad? Let's go off the train. How old are you? How old are you, my brother?
Doesn't matter.
20 something. Say, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. You understand what's happening in the public? After what happened in Croydon, we're not going to be taking that fucking risk. These little girls are precious, just like how the young boys are. Sit down and calm down. Come off the train, man. Come on, babe. Let's go have a conversation.
I know. Hey, so I think what is this? There was yeah. I think this brother might be from another community. I would suspect not the guy. This is. I've got two things to say. I think it might be. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Yeah, so I think it's maybe Asian brother. I'm not too sure. You guys will know. I think he was trying to talk to young 15-year-old girls, and the sister jumped in, and she showed a good warrior spirit. I'm just very alarmed that this brother here was just filming and not speaking. But I don't know his upbringing. It doesn't look like he's ready for anything really. But I mean, who am I to say? But yeah, just saying that you definitely want men to lead, and especially if there's harassers and that. But yeah, big up the sister on that. So I thought that was an interesting video to watch. She mentioned a time where the community came together to stop another predator. So that was good. What else we got? It's a little message here, very important message while I find the other video.
Ask the Jews who the enemies are. They'll call them for you. Ask the Palestinians. Ask the Chinese. But we believe we have no enemies. We believe we have no enemies. Because if we believe we had something, it means we'd have to fight. And some of us are not willing to do that. If we believe...
That's what the brother Dominic says there. As soon as a man calls a woman, especially an elder bro, it seems his mindset. So yeah, I don't know where that guy's from, but that's another thing. How we treat elders are important. I've got another video of some white women disrespecting elderly in America somewhere. But this shows you that we want to have. It's obviously not our community, but definitely in our community, we want to continue that concept of respect for elders. And speaking of elder, and that there's a sister speaking. Nurse, kind of listening.
That we had some enemies, then it means that we would have to stand for something. But one of the major reasons that black folks refuse to recognize that they're enemies of our progress and enemies of our people is because we are too busy looking for approval.
Very important. That's very true. You notice that. Some might argue last week we were kind of covering that ground, or at least that when we're trying to speak about black issues, you have people who are dedicated to speaking about other groups and how it might affect them. This is why I always challenge a person to say, well, this is about black BAM, and I challenge you to say something constructive for black people in this conversation.
Too busy looking for acceptance from these people. The Japanese aren't looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority. The Koreans are not looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority. The Russians, none of these groups are looking for acceptance from these people except us. Because you can believe this, all of these groups that I've named, the minute they get their superiority, don't expect them to be sympathetic either. They'll treat you just like the Europeans did. So when you decide to call yourself third world and all mixed up in coalitions with these people, you better watch and guard carefully who you coalesce.
Big up the sister there, big up the auntie there. Telling supreme facts. We try to, put that in the most constructive way possible so we understand that message. Let's see what else we got before I jump on the topic. Hold on.
I have to tell people.
History is being taught in. This is a similar thing, and maybe this is similar to last week.
Taught in Latin America in a way where Spaniards are portrayed in a negative lens. And there's something called the Black Legend. When you look into it and you see the true history, their goal wasn't really to kill the indigenous or get rid of them, or no, it was just to bring all the information. And of course they had their agenda of, okay, culturally we're going to impose this to the society, but at the end of the day, the cultures that we had here as indigenous weren't the best. So ultimately the best culture won, and that's the culture that we have, where we are currently living. So I think improvement will start by changing the education system and implementing the real history.
So I don't know who this sister is, but she's probably talking about history of the Spanish people colonizing the Americas and the Caribbean and that kind of stuff. And once again, she's very sympathetic to the colonizers. And this is something we see in different levels. This is one of the things we should we use as a benchmark of who can actually really be at that kind of echelon partnership and who is just more for us to give directions to. Sometimes when you talk to someone and you're talking about unity and they're talking about other groups and other stuff, it just declares that we should all know in our mind that that person is never going to do anything in line with what we're talking about. But we wish them well, and they have to know they're loved. But we understand why they speak against progress without even knowing it. And it's a shame because so many brothers don't know this. Well, obviously, this sister is very similar. Some things that said last week that people might actually sort of view that the same as well. And this is what a close proximity to other communities. They can really have you really thinking that left is right and right is left and this kind of stuff. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Hold on. Oh, this machine's going very slow now. Oh, come on. This machine's getting silly. I'm going to shut me. Let me open this thing and then shut it. I hate when this machine starts doing that. It's just from nowhere. It just starts doing silly stuff. Let me remove some of these. Oh, come on. Let me remove some of these and then I'll do it. Remove that video. Tell a friend, we're live. This is Betterment Broadcast. So let me send the link out as well for people to jump in. All right. If my I don't know, man. Maybe this machine's at its last leg. So remove that one. All right, is it gone? Yeah, this machine is going at a seriously slow speed. Let me move that one, and now I'm going to. Is there any softwares I can close? Cool, whatever. All right, let's let me open another video. Don't forget to tell a friend we're live. If you want to have your opinion, you can jump in now. I'm going to send the link in a bit when we start the two topics of the show. We're just looking through random videos that are giving our Black Bear perspective while people warm up and get ready and come in. No friends, black, not black, real bad, snap, color, respect. Oh, see what this one is. Hold on. Just gonna go through. Big up that sis, but no, it's not you. That's very. This I don't know what this is. I don't know if I should even play this. I mean, obviously, I saw this in a video of someone paid for advert to show this or something, or maybe it was in an African. I think this was in an African forum. I don't know if I don't know if this was like because in Africa, certain places and certain mindsets, they're very different towards certain things, and I think this is maybe some Europeans have gone and adopted maybe children or maybe look after them. I don't know, and they've got this individual looks like a daughter, I would say, Is she deaf? Okay, she might be deaf as well. And everyone was saying this looked a bit eerie, but I think she's meant to be teaching her. She's 8 or something. She's teaching her how to drive or something. Yeah, it looks a bit odd. And I don't know, and everyone went. Well, it seemed like everyone outside of No, I don't think anyone was best pleased. I don't know. Let me play it and see.
Eden's first time driving the car. How is he doing so smart?
I don't know about you. My machine's just going crazy slow, man. So I don't know. So no video was playing then. So I don't know. We'll come back to that one. I don't know. This machine. I don't have to reset the machine and leave it think because it's gonna annoy me. Oh, is it? Wait a minute. Is it the speed of the machine or the internet? Yes, it's the machine, isn't it? Whatever. All right, let's see. Let's start the show. Let's start. Oh, come on. Mic check. Yeah, he's working. Well, while I try to get there, we go. Video. Sure. Let me empty the bin as well. Empty bin. Maybe that might help. All right, empty the bin. All right, let's try this first. So let's start the color one, the colorism one first, because that's only got 2 videos to that. If I can even find them. I saw a sister. She's made some statement. Okay, but we'll come back to this disturbing one as well. Shameless machine. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see what's happening.
Let me not be insecure to you, sister. Let me not try to break it down to you. But have you understand I'm a light-skinned woman, so I benefit from colorism. You're a dark-skinned woman, sister. You can never make it to the heights I make it from. Oh, can we clock that one, or is it gonna hurt y'all feelings because it's me saying it? Can we be real for once and let's clock everything? Because I'm a light-skinned woman and I say the same shit you say. You're not going to make it to the heights I make it, bitch, because you can't fuck with me. You're a dark-skinned woman. I want you to understand that. Don't come in my comments saying anything to me, ho, because I was supporting you because you was a black bum bitch like me. You was a black bum like me, just getting on TikTok just for the love of the game because I wanted to make a way for my kids. But now I see you just a black bum that hate on hoes. See, one thing about me, when I was trying to make a way for my kids and get off the hood, I didn't get in nobody live trying to down talk them, trying to be funny. See, I was actually making videos trying to get out the hood, and you see what I make. That's
okay. So I can't really work out the context of this. I think this must be some kind of influence or maybe some kind of fashion or something like this. I don't know. Maybe there's brown sisters in the States will know more about. She's probably not that popular at all. I don't know. But the moral of the story is why does it keep speaking? The moral of the story is I think maybe a dark-skinned sister sent a comment about her, or maybe made fun of her or something like this, and she's responded by this. Now this is obviously a colorist response. Now, 2 things. One, just from, and this is the thing, but the most dangerous, vocally person in the room is the black person talking about black people. There's inside every black person is an arsenal of insults for a certain person from a certain shade, color, tribe, nation, religion, whatever. There's an arsenal, and it's just waiting for the right time to come out. And I think that's why we have to have first you have to have like community love lessons and all that, and self-esteem, all that good stuff. But more so a certain level of intelligence from each person, and that is to think you have to break it down like this. Someone's making fun of me on the internet or in real life or in my family or whatever, right? Now I'm going to say something to insult this person because that seems to be a natural response for black people, even at the highest level of TV or whatever. If someone insults you, insult them back, right? So I think, okay, you're going to insult this person. The things I'm going to choose to make this person feel bad, let me think where I can draw it from. Is it something that is singular to the person? Or is it something that's going to affect a whole demographic of black people? So am I making fun of their nation? Am I making fun of their skin color? Am I making fun of their hair texture? Am I making fun of something that is a big part of millions of thousands or hundreds of millions or whatever black people, other groups? And this is how the division in the Civil War starts, where you try to insult one person, but you use techniques of that insult hundreds and thousands. And the technique is, I don't reckon you should be arguing with anybody, but if you really feel it's necessary for you to get in the online battle and scrap, try to think of, let me say something that is particular for this unique individual rather than something that's going to hit a million, 2 million, 8 million members of the black community. So my machine is really going silly slow. And I mean, to the point where this woman is not speaking anymore, but on my machine, she's still talking. Yeah. Big up Empress Kush, big up Kushti Cosmetics, and big up As Chronicles video. Just going to find, I think she did a response to, obviously, it went viral or something. So I'm just going to spend 17 minutes trying to find it while my machine doesn't blow up. All right. So what would I? Oh man, how many things have I named it? Let's see. You've got perfect woman, bad words, white mom, hip jaw, she run, woman fight. Is it this one? Let's see. It can't be this one, can it? No, that's the sister doing whatever. Black love, respect, love. No. Oh, color. I would have called it color. Yeah. Let's see this one. And also, this is snap. Is this one?
Listen.
Yeah, I found it. I don't know. I don't know who named it that. I need to work on this name convention and the speed of my machine. All right, let's see this. So there's a response after the video is made. Give it time to load, like an Amstrad or a BBC computer or something that loads. Is it loading? I don't even know. I swear I did. Is it? Oh gosh. Let me remove this as well. Oh, ha, ha, ha.
That's why you won't never make it nowhere, sister.
No, don't play that.
On top of that,
we've heard that, sister. We've heard it.
Apologize humbly in the humblest of forms. I responded to a comment making fun of my abuse, and I went too low. And in the process of trying to offend her, how she hurt my heart, I hurt all my dark-skinned girlies. I want y'all to understand, if you know me, you know I ride for us. Dark-skinned, light-skinned, brown, I don't care what color you is, honey. I done went too low, and it was ignorant of me. And I shouldn't have did it. If you don't feel right with supporting me no more, block me, unfollow me, do what you gotta do, sister. But I apologize. Seriously. I need to learn not to let comments make me that mad. I forgot I have a platform. Amen. But I am a human. And when people say fucked up shit and joke about my abuse, I try and say fucked up shit as well. No justifying, just letting you know my brain. Amen. I apologize, sisters. I love us, honey. Are you crazy? I love us. We the best. We the blueprint. Fuck you, time out.
Yeah, so I mean, and you know, it's never to beat up on people. You know, we always want to use case studies to try to do better. But like I said before, inside every single black person is an arsenal of insults for another black person, and you know, you're just waiting for the right trigger, and then you're going to see what is, you know, the self-hatred or the, you know, and that's what I suspect will happen there. But that's why Black Betterment comes as a solution to that. You know, training children, adults, you know, the cues, what to look out for, how to love the community, how to love yourself, how to minimize and disengage and de-escalate. You know, seeing black people as a community, as a people, allies, not enemies. These are the things we do. But yeah, you know, this is that. So, any questions of that now? Let me put the link in the. I should have put time ago. Sorry about that. But my machine's acting like. When I tell you my machine's play, these last couple of weeks, I've noticed my machines have been. Maybe I need to get like a fragment or something called. You know, wait. Yeah, it goes through the machine and makes it operate better. There you go. Oh, yeah, so if you want to jump in. So this is the first topic. The first topic is colorism. But that's right. The reason, let me go to the thing. Maybe that will speed up if I put it on this. I'm going to get rid of all these videos while I do that. That should speed up. So yeah, I'm going to talk down to a method of how I communicate colorism and shadeism. So many people use it as the same word, but I use it differently. So I'm thinking colorism, colorism historically, as it's been used. I mean, if you just use the dictionary, it says, it's like an inner race, it's inner bigotry within the black group, people arguing over the shades of melanin and stuff, right? But it's more so, it's being used more so to describe within a black group, or maybe in any group as well. I don't know. That dynamics of the light skinned one is more favorable, and there is a mistreatment towards the darker skinned individual, right? And then obviously that's something that we document, we go around. But I think sometimes you might get a light skinned person who's being mocked and mistreated by a dark skinned person. I don't know if it's necessary if colorism for them being dark or light. I don't think that colorism would work best in that thing. I think shadeism might be a better term, and the way I'm defining shadeism when I talk that context is more so from a standpoint of if a lighter skinned person is trying to do something for the collective betterment of the community, and a darker skinned person or a light skinned person use the shade as an issue to say don't trust this person, or no one takes him serious, they're like, you could use that as a form of shadeism. In the form, you could say that word is shadeism, as in they are trying to stop the collective betterment of a group by delegitimizing someone based upon their lighter tone in contextual comparable to whoever's saying it, right? I think that might be a better way to rather than having colorism be just where everyone in the group is true. There's actually an interesting video as well that I downloaded last week, but I didn't play it. And what it was because if you break down how people define skin colors, there's many, but I think the broad sense of the three major kind of categories, you have light skin, brown skin, and dark skin. That's what they tend to do, right? Usually it was just light skin, dark skin, but now they seem to have three definitions of skin tones as mass grouping. And there was a brown skin sister, a very dark brown skin sister, and she was complaining that a lot of Nilotic Sudanese women were getting a lot of the model roles, and she was somewhat complaining. I had it up, but I'm not going to find it because my machine's going slow. And that was interesting that now the very zenith of melanin is getting some kind of attention, and now the next step up there is now some kind of challenge. Not but anyway, once again, that all comes down to being hired and stuff, and obviously I don't agree with what the system's saying. But creating your own institutions and then having your own kind of setup will maximize the amount of women and men who could be models in your magazine. Blah blah blah. So yeah, but anyway, that's just me rambling about shades. What's your any stories? What's your concept of trying to have colorism represent when darker skinned people are being mistreated and mocked, while shadeism is where lighter skinned people are being undermined, so that constructive work can't be done. I will give you working models. Let me see if I can get rid of some of this stuff now, man. Hold on. All right, so family, that was the. If I need to, I'll call her back because my machine is going slow, so I'll get rid of this. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Cool. So far, I can get rid of the video. Let me get rid of this one as well. All right. Cool. So now we're going to go to the next topic, which is Black economic support. We discuss solutions for. Let me. While I play that, I'll pin up as well. We discuss solutions for Black people who are attacked at establishments owned by other communities. I saw a video maybe a week or so ago of a brother in Birmingham, and I'm going to reach out to that brother and see if we can offer some support and stuff. But let me play the video that I saw just to keep it up to speed while I try to fix everything that's wrong with this machine. All right, let's find. So I think it's this one, Ecom, yeah. No, it's not that one, but let's put 2. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's the right one.
Sorry, I've had this cough from over the weekend, and it don't seem to be going anywhere. Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and those who are gonna join the live, thank you, and for those who will watch afterward, thank you as well. There are a few things I'm gonna say in this video. A few things I'm gonna say. Clear up a few things as well, but it won't be massively long. But just need to clear a few things. Right, the first thing I want to say is I've not long had a call from TJ from Forever Family Birmingham, and he just queried something with me, which I made clear to him that there's that it wasn't myself. Now there's other from my attack, which happened on the 17th of May. There was an attack on another brother on Erdington High Street.
Just some context. This is a brother who made a video out. He went to use an establishment, a shop from another community, and some disagreement happened where they were violent towards him and his pregnant wife and other members, and he'll tell it better, but just the context. And then he reacted, and he's now doing a campaign to promote black economics and also awareness of some of the incidents.
A few weeks prior to that, I need to make clear that's not actually me. All right, so it wasn't me that was getting attacked on that occasion. That's a separate incident. Okay. I was attacked outside the International Superstore. As you can see, the brother that got attacked was further up by the Lloyd's Bank, a bit further up on Erdington High Street. So that's not me in that video, all right? So just want to clear it up. We've tried, my team and myself, we've tried to reach out to the brother in that video, but we haven't had no success thus far. But you never know. Hopefully, if he sees this, he'll get in contact with us, etc. But we have tried to reach him, but we haven't had no success to that. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody that's turned out over the last couple of weeks and supporting the movement and turn up outside the International Store on Erdington High Street. Thank you so much for turning up and for showing myself and the black community the support. You know, everybody that came out from all community, we thank you. All right. Also, want to give a massive thank you to Desmond Jadu and Charlie Williams for their support of myself and my family throughout this time, my partner, my sister, etc. And also want to send a massive shout to the young man who everybody in the community is saying deserves hero status, and he does. And for those who still want to contribute to that young man, please get in contact with me. I've had a few gift vouchers, etc., which I will pass on to his parents, because I do check on him every week. I make sure checking him, make sure that he's in the best that he can be. You get what I mean, given the circumstances, etc. We have checked on him, and you know, so anybody else that wants to contribute and give gift vouchers, etc., or even whatever you want to do for monetary wise, whatever, that's fine. Get in contact, and we'll put you directly in contact with the gentleman as a show of appreciation, because he deserves it well. And listen, if I could give him the world right now, I would, because of how he protected my partner.
Machine.
You get what I mean? So saying that, for those who are looking to give this young man something, please get in touch with me. And
I'll add you to
directly in touch with his family, with his parents, because remember, he's still a minor. And thirdly, I want to say, make sure the 24th of this month, which is next week Friday, I believe, yeah, we all business-minded people from the community that are looking to make the community go forward as a united black front, to make sure that we keep our money in our community and the the process is going to take, etc. All right. If you're not coming to the meeting with good intentions and to make sure that there is constructive ways for going forward, it don't make sense you come and be loud and everything. We're looking for people to make sure that we go forward as a team and as a community. You get what I mean? So yeah, 24th, the Black Power meeting at King Standing Inn, 6:30 to 8:30. Business-minded people from the Black community, please come out and show your support and help us to make sure that moving forward, we as a community keep the money in our community. Do you know what I mean? So I think that would be a good start for us as well. So thank you. Thank you, nice ma'am. Thank you so much. Make sure business-minded people. As I said, we don't want the noise, and I don't want to seem disrespectful. Even I hope nobody don't see it as being disrespectful. But what we want is people that are looking to pull together to make that unity, to make sure that our community can move forward as one, and to make sure that our money stays in our community. And I'm very high on that. And I will say out loud and proud, we need to keep our money in our community.
I agree. Pause.
All right. Thanks again to everybody who turned out on Saturday. It was a much bigger turnout than the week before. All right. So thank you to everybody that turned out.
Pause. How long did that take? Sorry about it, fam. This machine is having a... Welcome, Melanated Goddess, to the Betterment Broadcast. Black Betterment to yourself. Oh,
Black Betterment, brother. Black Betterment. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
A little time to come off the mute, but I'm actually in transport right now. But I figured like I really like this topic. Kind of dealing with issues with colorism and shadeism and all those type of isms, like how we aren't able to come together. I think that's an important thing, because a lot of times we focus on like white supremacy and its impact on our community, but there are some internal barriers that impact us from recognizing and uniting as us. So instead of like when people say, "Oh, you're taking the victim standpoint," or "You're being a victim mentality," and all this other stuff, instead of us focusing on all of that, it's more so like, who are the victims? Who are the us? Who are the we? Who are the, what I'm saying? Like that part should be a lot easier to recognize and identify. So I kind of like the topic of this show.
Yeah. I think I was seeing this. I used to see a couple of talks where there are people describing how the impact of the amount of melanin they have, and I think maybe last week as well, maybe, but you hear complaints from different spectrums where you have how darker skinned people feel and maybe light skinned people feel. But I think having definitions to define things, because what you tend to find is you don't want to compare pains, but the problems and the challenges come from different areas. So there's different motivations. So identifying that is important. I think always centering what was done at the highest rate, which was what we call colorism, which is darker skin. The darker you are, the more challenge you're facing, the more prejudice, bigotry within the community, and essentially using white supremacy or white phenotype, the closest to that as a sign of success and this kind of stuff. So yeah.
Right.
But I think that's what it is, because sometimes you see talking and then you might get a light skinned sister or sort of brother say, well, people make fun of my color as well, and you kind of have to explain that will go on, but it is slightly different as in what motivates it and historically how it will be viewed. But at the same token, something I have noticed is whenever someone wants to sabotage progress, they will use the person
So,
speaking to undermine it. And I'm noticing
so
that.
how do you express it to a more fair skinned, complected African descendant?
Mm,
You know, because I mean, you're pretty fair skinned yourself, right?
mm,
So how should one who like okay, so I'm what you would call brown skin, right?
right. Yeah.
My mother, who was more so the primary caregiver, is dark skinned.
Mm,
So it's weird, but in my mind, when I would envision myself, because I had this dark skin image as the primary caregiver,
yeah.
I actually saw myself as a lot darker than I was. You know, I
Wow.
used to, I had a rude awakening when I described my complexion as Lauren Hill and India Arie, and someone was like, "Yeah, you're not that dark." I was
Wow.
like, "Yes, I am," and they was like, "No, you're not." And when they
Mm,
pulled them up on Google, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's I'm like a Jill Scott Brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a brown where I thought I was more so of a dark brown in my
mm,
mind when I saw myself, right? Or when I like without a mirror, when I envisioned myself, I envisioned myself like my mom.
mm.
But I wasn't like my mom at all. I was
Yep.
like more so the
Yep. That I've heard that happen to many others as well. Let me see this open as well. So this might be interesting. This is slightly.
Black dark skinned supermodels are more on the extremely dark skinned side, right? But your day-to-day girl isn't as dark as them. So it's either we have extremely dark black girls, dark skinned black girls, or nothing. There's definitely something that needs to be filled in there. I feel like the perfect example is me. I'm dark skinned, but I'm not as dark as the Sudanese girls. But I'm very near there, but I'm not as.
And so you're
I'm just gonna. This brother, he's got his own page. He kind of got his own thing going on, but I'll listen to his explanation. But yeah, but yeah. So that's interesting. There's a sister who's well, says dark skin, maybe in between brown and dark. I don't know the definitions, and she's making some kind of comment towards the amount of Nilotic or dark skin or Sudanese women, I guess, and maybe men as well, who are getting the modeling jobs. I assuming. Interesting that. I should follow up to see what is what is because, but this is quite a unique case where now the dynamic was always the awareness of lighter skinned people getting certain roles and darker skinned people not, but now it's gone complete the opposite where the other end of the spectrum is now allegedly getting roles and the middle ground is having comments and stuff. So I don't know. That I thought that was interesting. But once again, the solution that we push is to own black resources and create things where you're hiring a tremendous amount of black people, and that way, you get more of a representation directly from black Betterment-controlled concepts. This
I
is
know
black
you
Betterment.
have had some shows around specifically like people who were mixed race, right?
Mm,
And I feel like the perspective of like blackness or like you know what I mean is like the phenotype of blackness when it comes
mm,
to mixed race people, like when
mm,
you actually have like one non-black parent
mm.
versus someone who has like admixture
Yeah.
and how they view their blackness, I
Mm.
do see there to be a difference. You know,
Yeah.
like it, it's I don't even know what to make of that difference, but it does exist.
Yeah.
What do you
From a
think?
from a phenotypical that you can see that variable here and there. I think, but also what tackles it as well more so is the psychological connection to a non-black member. So you a light-skinned black person doesn't have tends to have no white non-black parent to actually reference their phenotype in any way, their connection. So how a light skinned person in that element feels different from a biracial person is that like a connection. But I did actually have a video, funny enough, which I was going to play, which is it's quite embarrassing. No, I don't know if I'm saying embarrassing, but it was quite hard to
I
watch.
think that's very fair. Like, yes, I
Yeah,
think that should be highlighted because it's actually brought up as a talking point very often.
yeah,
That, oh yeah, technically we're all mixed. We all this, we all that. We aren't even, typically the same people on a continent, and it's kind of like to make having admixture in your heritage equivalent to being biracial.
yeah,
And I think you bring a big um you know contrast to that it is actually very different, that
yeah.
although those two people could look phenotypically very similar,
Mm,
um their experience is different,
yeah.
because a person who is, let's say, 20% of
Black
European
girl that
descent,
rocks like.
Mm,
they may not actually have any actual Europeans as their direct lineage, in their direct lineage,
yeah,
right? And they don't have that European experience as opposed to someone who might have a non-black parent. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, it's completely different.
No, you're right. Yeah. So just to break down what this is saying, if you're a person, you have one parent directly from say Sudan and one parent from Norway, you're feeling you could come out as quite dark, right? And especially if you take more from your African side. While you might have someone who historically has so many different admixtures where they're taking elements from there, elements from there, passing down, that they might look, they might quote unquote look like they might I don't know they might look closer towards say another group like European here or there, but they have no connection to them because they've never seen someone directly from that group in their lineage to study and be aware. While the dark skinned Sudanese descendant person will have a mother or father who's actually from another place. So even though phenotypically they'll look darker, you might not even tell that they are quote unquote what they describe as biracial. But because of the close proximity, their attitudes will be very different. This is a video here. This is slightly different. This is like the so the you see like lighter skin black people who all their parents have been black or something like that, a type of black. Drawing for sometimes they go, oh, I'm mixed. There was a time where we go, oh, that kind of thing. I think even Bow Wow said it once. If it wasn't Bow Wow, it was somewhat. I don't. It might not have been Bow Wow. So let me not quote him. But this sister here, I don't know much about her music, but I think this was a time where this Bow Wow said, something about being a black woman, and she tried to correct him and say, no, I'm a biracial or mixed or something like this. But it's quite interesting because let me just press play if it even plays. I think what followed afterwards was interesting.
What does that mean to you? You know what I'm saying? To be a black girl that rocks. Like, what does that mean to you? Because a lot of young women, they look up to you. You know what I'm saying?
True. I'm biracial.
Okay, well.
But it's okay. I'm black.
Wow.
I'm black. No. I mean, I think it's amazing. At first, I was, kind of skeptical about being a part of the Black Girls Rock organization.
Right, so I don't know much about this, but I think they said she didn't know her father, and then she found out later that her father was actually a black man. I don't know if that's true. Someone can go fact check that. This was a few years ago. Obviously, he's much older now. But yeah, this she's part of something called Black Girl Rock, and then she's saying she's biracial, but actually she wasn't. So I don't know what happened there, where someone is raised to think they have a parent who's from another community, and it's not the case. And obviously, yeah, I don't know. I saw that on my feed, and it started some kind of debate somewhere. But this is the flip end as well, where you have lighter skinned people who actually
So,
see two black parents and they claim, I am mixed race. Like, as in, I want you to know that I want you to bring forward the ethnic groups that I've never met as my identity.
are you saying that this young woman's father was not black, or
I
she isn't?
So what happened is this: she was raised, and maybe her dad left. I don't know, and I don't know if she wanted to or she felt that her dad might have been white by looking at it. I don't know, but I think later on after this show, it came out. This is Keisha Cole, but I don't want to say certain things and I'm wrong, right? But this is what I read in the comments, and not that the comments is like the gospel of truth, but this is where. Let me type it in now. Let me use the magic of Google to find out. Keisha Cole. Now she's a famous singer. You'll know more than me because I'm not that trendy on trendy music. But I think she had some kind of let me type Keisha Cole's appearance. This machine's lame. We're talking about colorism to those who are joining live now. Yeah, I'm seeing a black man, a black woman that's come up as a parent. So I don't know if she didn't know or something. Yeah, clearly she's got two black parents. So yeah, that's that. So I don't know where she got that from. So yeah, but then I have seen that before. I've seen dark skin people claim other heritages, and there was one guy who was on stage in America somewhere, and he wanted to represent his Irish enslaver, something like that. It was very odd. It was on some awards show, and I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, that's an interesting thing there. So anyone else want to speak on? Have you got anything you else want to add to? What is it? Colorism. Useful definition for colorism and shadeism. We're just looking at the useful, how we can use words to describe actions, and is reverse colorism a thing, or is that a new word we bring forward? Do we call that shadeism? And do we focus more on, which I would say, more on when someone is trying to be constructive and push people forward, and you use their lighter skin to undermine that. We see that a lot within the whole debate community and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Well, it wasn't that the case in the biracial guy that was like frequenting this channel, and he was kind of concerned about the language about biracial people being somewhat of a detriment. I guess that would fall underneath that.
Break that down for us. Yeah, I think that there was a brother who was coming on. He came on one time, and I think he was concerned that I think he said me and Brother Kel were using biracial people as a buffer class, or we were concerned that they might come together and undermine and destroy something black or something. I did want him to actually come back, but he worked, so he couldn't. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a valid. It's kind of like a valid point, but what makes it invalid is when you do in cases where you do have a sense of community, where you do have a sense of communal understanding of certain terms. That's when it's like that's not relevant. But when you're in an environment that doesn't have those things directly spelled out, I feel like then it's needed.
Yeah.
So I don't know how helpful that is, but
Yeah, I mean, I did tell. Interesting enough, the sister who came on last week, she's been messaging. So last week we were speaking to two biracial speakers. So check that out. About 2000. Episode 196, I think. And we were talking for a long time. And basically, I came across them because I was promoting Black Love in a forum, and I think one of them. Some kind of issue happened, and I invited them to discuss their feelings on, black men marrying black women, and I think we started talking about Michael Jackson's son. We started talking about Michael Jackson's son, not son, daughter. Maybe the son, the blanket gentleman, and not giving the Michael Jackson's mother any money. And then we said, could this be because they're white, they're not connected to the family and cultural stuff? And she took quite offense to that. She even messaged me. She messaged me on Instagram afterwards, and she said she showed me a picture of Tibble Tip. I think the enslaver, the black enslaver from the Swahili coast. And she goes, "Is he an enslaver because he's black?" And I think she was trying to make a point that your skin color doesn't determine what you do. And we're saying we describe white supremacy and ideology, see, and how easy that ideology is to pick up for non-black people. You see, and I said with the Michael Jackson thing, this is a case study pattern where we demonstrate week to week and month to month certain things that happen around Michael Jackson that could be seen as challenging for black people or done because he was black or in a black environment. So anyway, I did invite her on, but I doubt I'm not too sure she wants to come back because she's busy. But one thing I wanted to highlight was both the brother and sister there. They have one black parent, but they spend the entire time defending Europeans of Africans and defending white people of black people. Now, I don't know if they're trying to play European advocate or that's just how they generally are. The history would say probably that's how they generally are. And I think certain questions were asked because there is that concept that some people say that if you have one black parent, you can join certain organizations, but you can't lead. This kind of stuff. And this causes confusion. This causes, some kind of anxiety and stuff. And I think there was one or two gentlemen who jumped on and said similar. And I've always said that members of the community, if you can display and push forward loyalty to the idea and the ideals, and you don't undermine them, then regardless of your combination or your background or where you're born, you can elevate and be at the very best within whatever that organization is. But there is that concern. But I think we have to talk about code about that. Because I've always said that close proximity to non-black people is going to heighten the reality that you will not synchronize with other black people when it comes to trying to find solutions. So that doesn't just include having a parent. It could be being adopted. It could be marrying into a family. Or just living, in close proximity for all your life, fostering this kind of stuff. I don't know, right? So maybe a concept of whenever someone, or maybe everyone does it anyway, but whenever someone is, comes from a certain background, there's certain interviews you have to let them know that this is what this is about, and we don't want to compromise on it. But that's just another. We're joined by Black Betterment Empress Kush. Welcome to the Black Betterment Broadcast. Welcome. Oh, we'll give her time to find the mic. Let me scroll down. There you go. No, you're working now. Yes.
What's up, sis?
That's
Do you have any opinions on this topic or last week's topic or anything, Empress Kush?
yeah, but I feel like my comments in the chat was I just think that I think there's a lot of treading on toes with this subject. So therefore the subject can't get done honestly, if I'm being honest. And I don't think I've got much foot tiptoeing left in me when it comes to the progression of us.
Yes.
I think the tiptoeing is what's stalling us, to be honest. And I think in a bigger sense, that's kind of the consensus of most Black people with our mindset in regards to a lot of things that's concerning us at the moment. And I think last week was a display of that, to be honest, because all I was thinking was this was that I don't know, Sis Mel, did you manage to catch any of last week's?
Actually, I did not.
Oh, such a shame.
It was very important case study, really good one.
Yeah, it would have been good to have heard what you think about that, especially from coming from overseas, like being a family member from overseas with the same mindset. I would have loved to have heard your input in that. But I think that all I saw from last week was that I just felt like I said to one of the brothers that at this point, I don't think we're conversating. I just think that this was like an education of racism 101.
Yeah.
And, all I was thinking is that as Black Betterment or in the Black Betterment space, we have to literally halt and stop to explain basics.
Yes.
So you were explaining racism to a person of African descent?
So
Yeah.
there was two brothers and sisters. Both of them had one black parent, and that we came across them because of my campaign of promoting black love in adverts that's undermining black love, I should say. And
So they've never encountered racism in their whole entire life.
oh, the thing is they do, but it's how they respond to it. They're quite dismissive of racism. From it's like it's accepted that black people and they experience racism, but to them it's like casual, and then they move on to the response to racism and how they don't approve of it, and that's what I notice. So they accept
Exactly
racism,
that.
yeah,
Exactly that. There was a
yeah,
whole heap of why black people constantly stuck in the same victim mentality rhetoric.
yeah,
If we don't just get along, to think that we can't move forward without working alongside other community is ridiculous. Like a lot of condescending, dismissive of black people's history,
yeah.
a lot of that on a Black Betterment channel,
Mm,
while saying interchanging we and then saying me as a mixed race or us as mixed race or mixed heritage and then us
mm,
as black people but us as mixed race people but then again us as black people. I
mm,
was like, the confusion alone, we're not
mm,
moving through first base here.
no.
Like, there was a lot of like Brother Raven having to say, you are accepted in our community. If you believe this, we do believe you're black. There was a lot of like I feel like there's a lot of pandering that has to be done and reassurance that has to be done before you can even conduct a conversation. And
I agree.
I
Yeah.
don't think, and the thing is, if we want to start, because and this is what I'm saying about the confusion, and I think because I'm very a logical person, I can't rock with it. I can't rock with it in any other factors either. So
Mm,
this here, right here, to me, is just a whole heap of confusion. I said that, and I've always said that, like, the enemies, one of their biggest tool against us, their weapon against us, is this confusion that they
yeah,
put in us. And
yeah.
this was like a clear demonstration of it. And
Mm,
the constant reassurance just to alleviate the anxiety, and like that's got nothing to do with us. And the thing is that when they're ready, it's I'm still half of this, but then why don't they get half of the drama? Like, why are
mm,
we dealing with this? And it's like,
mm,
this is the thing that I think never clicks in the head. Like, you understand that in the two halves that we're talking about predominantly here, we're the victims in this, we're the downtrodden, where did this, where did that, where did that, right?
mm,
Cool.
mm.
But then we're still expected to take on the
Yeah.
insecurities that's been given by the other half. You do not go into the other half as a mixed race person and say, I'm half you. I want to sit at this table with my brown.
Mm,
I want to
mm,
be able to highlight and then stop what you're talking about in regards to your movement. Let's talk about our issues here. Do you know?
mm, mm.
I think that that was very apparent to me. There was no progression of movement in there. It was just a whole heap of hurt, confusion, and downplaying the history and struggles that Black people have.
Mm.
And like, I'm trying to say that in the most quote unquote caring and nicest way, which is ironic because as a Black woman, when it comes to my Black issues,
Mm.
it's very direct, right? There's
Yeah.
no underlying model coddling as a Black woman. There's none of that, not from my counterparts, not within the community, not without the out wider community. The expectation of Black women is very direct and very like rigid. So
Mm.
I just think that it's just very ironic, and um I just can't do it anymore, like the model coddling. Like, I'd rather just about it factual. That's why I actually appreciate Foster,
Mm.
Brother Foster, because at least, even though I agree with some of the, like, I agree with Foster in regards to the fact that he's very plain in what he says.
Mm.
He says it how it is, and I think that people are not used to that. So
Mm.
I appreciate the fact of his honesty because that's how I see it, and it's I think it's wild that even when a person from that community who's mixed race says that and still gets pushed back, at this
Mm.
point is the problem with us trying to force
Mm.
people. That's why I'm not even gonna be near that. Like, that's not what I'm a part of, especially when you hear the rhetoric.
So I hope I'm not going on, but with this issue, it's layered, you know, and I think there was so much layers that came out of that, and most of it was you having to reassure them that you still see them as black. If they've got one black person and they've got that mindset, you're still black. Like it was that, or us hearing that black people are just constantly complaining, and that we should get together with outside communities. It's the only way to build up. That's all I heard.
Yeah, and you'll be correcting your analysis there. You'll be very correct in your analysis, and I think sometimes when you get some of these people come in and they're very new to certain ideas and they've got these distinct backgrounds, I think for me personally, I'm not looking at someone who I am expecting to ever practice black betterment or ever even be part of really any much really not at all. But what I do hear is when they say something like they experience mistreatment from their white family and non-acceptance from their black family, this kind of stuff, right? And so I go, okay, well that's you know, we don't want to continue mistreatment here, but you know, we want to highlight that. Are you treating both the same? Like you seem to be defending the actions of the European side, and and undermining the attempts at the black side trying to collectivize and work together. But I just when I ask the people who's listening now, you know, when I start hearing the way they speak, I'm now more so in I don't use the tragic kind of mode where like this is a loss. These are lost words. These are lost kind of people at a certain point, and it's at a certain point it's no longer me trying to convince them to join or to do certain things. It's more like, yeah, this is nothing can be done here. It'll take resources we don't have to make them understand the basics, if at all.
It was just wild. Like I couldn't like it's just yeah. I just think I'm like for my patience level. I just know I'm not set for that because I just thought. You know, the thing is that you do have different, like, for example, and if the brother's listening, he can jump on or he'll comment. Like, but I feel like Brother Foster and me, we kind of had like quite a honest kind of relationship on here, so I think he won't mind. But if you do, bro, jump on or in the comments, it's fine. But like with Brother Foster, I have to re-watch the stream, or it'd be good if you could jump on again. It was interesting though when he said that, you know, I find that like mixed race people, when he said that comment, mixed race people have received more racism than black people. I was like, huh? And when he actually broke it down, and he said that, you know, as a mixed race person, and then you go to your white side, you're hearing that. I 100% agreed, right? So sometimes there is space to give people understanding, and I could understand that somebody who recognizes that space can then become a Carla, for example. Do you understand? Because they're looking at the dynamics.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you see those Akalas, bro, they're very few and far between. And I've worked with people in different capacities who are Akalas, and they will tell you that themselves. Do you know what I mean? That is the realest thing. And I think with women talk more. Women notice more things. Women talk about, or girls talk about what's going on in their lives more. So I feel that with women, black women, especially in the UK, this is not a shock. Do you understand? What we knew this. Do you know what I mean? We're around women all the time, not just mixed race or black women, white women as well who have black kids, and they'll tell you that my child is half white, or they like we know how they're living. Do you understand? As women, and with men, it's not. Especially within the black community, I don't think these kind of discussions are. I think this is very recent. These kind of discussions where people are opening up, and you're hearing it through both women and men from mixed heritage, and they're actually opening up. And I think that's why it's coming out a bit more now. Like as you said, where it's getting highlighted more, where no matter what because I think it got highlighted that both their parents, the mother was the one who was melanated, right? And
Yeah.
right. So at this point,
you know, you can have them from the south of England, north of England, whatever England. Like, there's a consistency. That's what I was saying in the chat to you. Like, have you noticed anything, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, where are these Akalas? You know?
Yeah, I did notice that comment. Yeah.
Well, we've not had one Akala type person on the panel yet.
No, we haven't.
I'm wrong.
No, we haven't. But what the so
Even if we look at statistics, bro, and this is why I say I move with probability, not of the fairy tale. I move with the realistic world. But the door is still open, right? I know this for a fact, that the door is still open for people who are of mixed heritage, who have that mindset, because they understand it. Do you understand? Like, they get it. Once you get a philosophy or a way of life, you just get it. Do you understand? And if you see yourself one way, as in, I am of the Black community, I am a Black person, I am a member of this community, the inflictions that happened to them before affects me, and the infliction that's happening to them now affects me. Yeah. Then the progression of Black people, i.e. me, makes sense. Like, there's nothing that needs to be explained at the gate. But if at the gate you have to do racism 101, you know what you're dealing with. Do you know what I mean, bro? Like, it's very easy with stuff like that. I think that's how we have to move. Like, just like we move with any other thing around us. Like, it has to be consistent. If we don't give a bly to Black men doing unsynchronized stuff, we don't give a bly to Black women doing unsynchronized stuff, we don't give a bly. You know, like, there's certain things that's just what it is.
Yeah, hopefully we made that very clear that, you know, they were unsynchronized. But I think, like I said, there's usually the term far gone, but you might have individuals who were never in a position to be far gone, as in they were born in that extreme left or whichever direction philosophy, and they don't know it. And I think for me, it's like you just have. I think for me, it's like the way Black Betterment runs, right? It's an absolute kind of concept. So only members of the community can practice it, right? So that means even if you find the most amazing non-Black person from, you know, Arab or a European, we don't track the stuff because that's not the lifestyle we're promoting. It work against what we're doing. So establishing who can do something is important. Now, amongst that group or ethnic group or shade group or national group, you might get a very low percentage. You might go, so, you know, people always say that you want all Black people to work together, but this particular ethnic group from this Black nation in this place, most of them are anti-Black or they don't identify as Black. And go, yeah, it's true. But if 1% of them wanted to, they're welcome. But we're not going to wait outside their house begging them to be Black or to, are you Black? No, this is not, begging friend is something I don't think anyone can ever promote. But if you're part of an ethnic group and you stumble upon a DVD or you stumble upon this podcast and you become constructive, you're welcome to help. But we're not here chasing ethnic groups or color persuasions to be constructive. But we do talk to them as a case study to see the mindset of the unsynchronized. And I think last week we got a good sense of, you know, two brothers and sisters from different parts of the world who were completely unsynchronized, and it was confidence in their ignorance, which is something very common, you see.
I think there was so much stuff that was similar to what white people say to Black people as well, which they wasn't even aware of.
Here's what it is: the brother, the brother is someone who could probably try to jump on again, maybe if he, you know. But the sister, I think she by the tone and especially afterwards, I think she was very, like, I think she looks at this as a negative experience for I'm not gonna say for Black people, for the human race, because they're never gonna see it as a Black perspective. They're gonna go, we're humans, this kind of stuff, right? So, and I invite, yeah, because what tends to happen when, yeah, what tends to happen when I speak to people on the internet or whatever is they give me massive essays on in the message groups and stuff. I'm like, this is quite some deep thought. Do you want to come and express this? But they're like, no, you know, someone like you will never understand. I don't know if it's because it's live or people can question back. I don't know.
But that's why I told you to jump on in it. I do genuinely want, because I feel that at this point, people need to hear it from the mouth, from themselves, right? Because I feel like this is a good thing now that I could just refer people to. Just go back to this particular stream and just listen and then come back to me, 'cause I just feel like it just needs to be said by their mouths. And this is the thing about towing the line, right? Tiptoeing, because you don't want to come across like you hate a connection of people. It's the mindset that needs to be clear as well, right? Because that's the distinguish here between what we claim as a Kala and then the rest, right? It's the mindset. It's not the percentage of how much they've got of what or who they're mixed with. What it's the mindset that needs to be clear first, because they've got a whole thing of, they make it very basic or very westernized type of logic of, oh, we just hate a certain group. Do you understand? And that needs to be clear, that it's the mindset. Like, if listening, I hope she understands that, because I don't want her to feel like she's getting beaten up, because it was very much, you know, this is why we don't feel like we can talk, and this is why it's very much this. And it's like, well, I could bring you a bunch of mixed people of mixed heritage who their DNA, they'd be mixed heritage, but they'd be offended by that term, right? Because they call themselves black. And they'd turn around and say that wasn't an offensive whatsoever. And the difference between that is that everyone in that group is of mixed heritage, but the difference there is mindset, right? But it's like, I just think that should be clear, that made clear. I definitely want to say that, because I'm not going to tiptoe around this, but I just want that to be clear, because I feel that people do juggle that or will go that for their victim mentality and act like we're hurting a group, and it's about the mentality. And I think that's the problem that they don't actually get, because I could believe that the sister was genuinely, and I want to say that I don't think that they came on with malice. So even though things that I said that they did, like they put down the struggles of black people, like people were saying that in the comments, I was definitely saying that comments, you had to correct them a lot of times. All of those stuff did happen, but I don't think it happened in malice. But this is what I mean, that kind of confusion, even though I know it's not malice, is not helping. Do you understand? Like, I can acknowledge that it wasn't from an evil place. I can acknowledge that it was from ignorance in the purest form of what ignorance means, right? Talking on something you don't know. And then, but I can also acknowledge that that's not helpful. Do you understand? And I think another key thing as well, I don't know if you want to talk to that about on top of that, bro, because there's another thing I wanted to mention, which is separate from that I noticed.
Well, I would say just a quick thing, that one of the things when you talk to some of these brothers and sisters is, because I don't swear or use name calling techniques, both of them described like an oddness about the interview, and I think that's what it is. As in, normally when someone's offended by something, they'll draw like, you're a racist, or you're this, or you've made fun of me, then it goes that way. So what I seem to notice is they then start focusing on the comments in the forum, you see, as a way to say, look, we're not like Tara, they're saying horrible words. And that's why I say that code is important, and it isn't pandering. It's like,
right, but you look at the comments.
Yeah, I did. But that's
there was nothing. There was no swear. Like, but this is what I'm saying. Anything could be offensive. If you believe the sky is green and I tell you it's blue, I'm offending you. Like, so at what point? This is what I'm saying about the tiptoeing. If you're gonna say something that was undermining black, like this is what I'm saying about the audacity, bro. The fact that I have to say this, like, this is what I mean, from someone who still has heritage from this community, is wild, bro. Like, the day I can stop saying, if it was a Jewish person and you did this and then break it down in another community for people to get it with one, I'm telling you, bro. Because
you're gonna struggle, sister, in general black community, because
that's when I know with one, bro. Because and you're right, it's until then we're gonna struggle. The day I can say something and not have to put it into another community for people to get it, that's what.
This is the important point you're saying here, and this is something that we have to cover, and this is the idea of the metaphor, right? And that is, we did a show in South Africa, I think, where they had the South African people looking at poor white people, and they were horrified, because you see, And they said, I can understand black people being poor, but white people, this is not right. We need to do something. So what I'm saying is,
It's
black people
mad,
have, yeah.
bro.
But what I'm
This,
saying is,
this,
this
it's
person,
crazy.
these people have been raised amongst Europeans, and when they come in, they're going to see it from a European lens.
Yeah.
So that dynamic, they're always going to expect black people to hold the heavy load. It's given. It's like, and the way they speak, that's why they'll go, yes, you were genocided. Yes, you were killed. Yes, you were kidnapped. But so they'll say big
But
words. But, and you're like, but shall we focus on what you just said and how that might impact someone rather than, but you have to love everybody, or this kind of stuff, right? Not everyone's bad or something like this. So this is the heavy lifting that black people always have to do. But what I'm saying is, what I'm aware of is people start a conversation saying, I get a bad vibes from both white and black, right? And when someone says that, we might be joined by someone new as well. Hold on, let me get them in. Welcome to Zed, the fun auntie. Black Betterment to yourself.
Black Betterment.
Should I unmute myself or mute myself?
I know we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay.
Are you familiar with the topic where we're talking? We're talking about colorism, but I guess we're also talking about people with one African or black parent, and how they might relate or not relate to the black community, or how they might indirectly undermine black progress, or they might see that black people are doing things that's not constructive. But have you jumped in for that? Have you just jumped in to join the panel?
Oh, you know what? I will listen in, and then when I think I have something to contribute, I will. I like this conversation.
Of course, anytime you're always welcome. Yeah, so that's the thing, sis. Is this is the expectation, and once again, when I talk to, and this is just any member, whether they're one black or they're from this continent or whatever, once they're consistently defending the group that the enslaved group or the group that caused the issues, I know I can no longer envision them in any form of betterment, but more so case study and letting them know they're loved. Because this is a form of destruction. You see that they'll feel, because I think this is, I won't reveal everything she said to me, but because it was a private message, I assume that's what she didn't want to know. I don't know, but yeah, she was heavily, she was heavily defending European tropes, and I want to say what it comes down to is this philosophy of why we say white rightening, or the white right philosophy, where see no color and this kind of stuff. And that's why I say this concept is for Europeans or non-black people, right?
Yeah.
And that's one thing we have to have a campaign where it's like the philosophy you put is because of what you have done and you're trying to make amends, but that's for your community. Our community need to see color because we need to know what we're fixing.
It's also about, I was going to say, it's also about mentality as well, right? Because and it does come from a Western mentality, because we're talking about a community-based logic as well, right? Where we're all trying to move for the greater of all, of all of one,
Yes.
us one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the sister was heavily focused on the individual achievements around her, right? So she kept saying that her Nigerian side, when she looks to the black people on her Nigerian side, she sees accomplished people, and she was saying about the high salaries that they were making, and I understand that, right? And I can believe that, and I've seen that, right? And that's brilliant for them, right? But this is what I'm saying about that Western individual, get my money, get it right, I'm good, that's all that matters. Which is in direct conflict of being a synchronized black person and understanding that I'm for the better of all of us, therefore the better of me. Do you know what I mean? I am you, therefore you am I. I've messed that up, but you know what I'm saying, right? That is a total different mindset. So that's why I said in there that the owner of Gatwick is a black man. Great, right? But you're still likely to be stopped 37 times as a black person. That's the difference in mentality, the individual to the community. You can be good, but then when you have your kids and you leash them out to the world, you don't know what's going to happen no matter what your price bracket, because of what your bracket you fall into, i.e. black. And that's the difference. It's this mentality, bro. So while they try and have a low level of, oh, you're racist, oh, you just hate all light skin or mixed, it's not that. I want that to be so clear. Like, it always boils down to mentality.
Yeah, I hear that.
I wanted to talk. Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, I think her connection just went, so hopefully the sister will jump back.
I think she jumps back because
yeah. But you hear that. But once again, it's for me.
I think that's her there. Zed the feminist. Come jump if you can hear us, sis. Please jump back on. Just tap the link.
Oh, hold on. Oops, where's the comment? Yeah. I mean, the issue is, look, you mentioned this, the tread on the eggshells, but I'm looking at it as, this is like a very trauma-filled conversation, and I haven't met who's jumped on the panel yet, a person from the biracial community who doesn't display this kind of high, I guess, anxiety, trauma around almost every topic, and I guess once again, I think I put everything in the form of tactics. One of the reasons why we try not to speak harshly, collectively about other groups in a derogatory term, is a strategy, as in because you're going to trigger other people, but also we want to get to a place where we can use facts only, and then have people face the facts, so they can't go, yeah, but you said that my grandma was a dragon or whatever. It's like, no, I'm saying that your grandma is a white supremacist, and we know this because you told us she was. You see, so when we have rule sets that only black people can come to this meeting, well, that's one of the reasons, because we don't want to invite anti-black racism in a meeting about black women.
Literally.
See,
and
yeah,
you'll push the people away. Like, I don't want to go to a meeting or be in doing something in the forward movement of black. And this is what it comes down to. This is the reality. Why do you, like, it should be put like this as well? Like, why do you have these kind of feelings, Raven? Why do you think this way, right? Because in the real world, if we were all to get together and do a movement, no one with common sense is going to sit in a meeting and give up their time, and then when you're sitting in a meeting now, you've got to sit there and mollycoddle someone. Like, that's not what I'm here for. Do you understand? Like, everyone has to have that mindset. When we get here, it's the forward of black people. We understand who black people are. There's no conversation of what is black. There's no conversation of can I date out you. We're not here for the foolishness. And I think that's why you have to be direct in things, because the people who are ready to move on will walk out, get up and move on, because no one is for that anymore. Like, you can feel it. There's a shift within us, and this shift that's happening within us hasn't got time for that. This African spirit that's coming for us ain't got time for all of that. So it's the reality of that. And I think that, like you said, that I'm glad to hear you say that the tiptoeing, it just can't happen. And I think last week it was a big display of that, a big display. But I wanted to ask you a question, bro. Yeah, because one of the things I see highlighted that came up to you a lot, right, was your promotion of black love.
Yes.
Therefore equates to, and I'm just going to say it how I see it. Yeah. I saw it as your Raven, your promotion of black love therefore equates to the end of me.
Yeah, I got that more so from Foster. I think.
Yeah, but you also got that from the other brother that was on there. And Sister didn't push back on that. Like, the black love, I think they were all and that's another thing as well, right? That the black love was one thing they all agreed on was a problem, right? In some which way. Black love.
Yeah. Well,
no, I don't think it was necessarily. I think she said that she didn't actually mind, like, in the notion of promoting black love. To be fair, I think she said something on the guise of, like, I don't have a problem with it, like that kind of thing. Whereas the men have, right? So Foster and the other guy had a problem with the promotion of black love, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, once again, well, then we generally see that.
But sorry to interrupt you, because I'm just thinking out loud. But it wasn't the same pushback that you'd get from black men. Right. I think that their pushback was genuinely because it was like the logical thinking, right, of, okay, if you're promoting black love, where does that leave mixed? Like, you're basically saying the eradication of mixed race people.
And this is why words and how we present things are important. And I have a slight understanding of what they're saying, but then at the same time, not at all. And the way I say it is, if you're a member of a community, we're talking about actions that a member does, right? So you as a member have a choice to marry someone. That choice should be a member. Regardless of how you got there or how you became a member, you are now a member, right? And that's what like, I don't get into the, are you really one, or will I not exist anymore? It's like, well, you say not exist anymore. It's like, you're othering yourself out of the community, right? And that's what we need so be it. But the words I use a lot.
But to them, that's dismissive, though, bro. Right?
But you said you can't. There's certain things. There's certain nice tones I will allow some, but there's certain things that it's like this, right? I've left many.
No, I'm not pushing back. After
No.
I'm just
no, I hear
letting
that.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know that. But what I'm saying to the audience is, I've been in many like kind of boards of groups and stuff, and there's certain fundamentals that there is no way around it, and that is constructive black men and constructive black women. I think one of the reasons why we're in this place is because that you tend to find there's very few black men who promote that concept, right? And usually just because men like access to as much women as possible, right? But when it comes to ideas that work for the black community, I don't see how we can have that outstyle at A*. There's nothing more than a constructive black woman. So if anyone is joining in, I always say that the Europeans, the father of the child who's married out, and the European community, they have to hold the heavy load in any kind of hard questions, not the black community. It's not. You see, they have to explain it. We don't. So I'm gonna be kind when they.
So what you're gonna say is just defer to them.
You have to. No, but I think I did this in some debate one time. Yes, I see. Obviously, when I'm talking to black men so there's black men who marry non-black women, they would say like, "Oh, why can't we be part of like the top group or whatever it is? And why can't we use some resources? Blah blah blah." And I'll say, well, the thing is, you've chosen to not marry a black woman, right? And I ask you, see, who has more resources? European men or black men? And they go, well, European men. I go, okay, well, you're marrying into the European community. You have to ask them. You see, you're married into the community. They have more resources, but yet you want to use the minimal resources that we have here to deal with your mixed relationship of black man and white woman. Well, we don't have. You have to go to guidance to the European man, because he's where your family's going to end up, right? So we can't use our resources for someone leaving. Who does that? Who's about to leave like an internet deal or a phone deal, and then that phone people are giving them all the resources before they leave?
This is the problem, bro. This is what I mean. The fact that you have to give them these analogies first for them to get it is like that default of like, I'm always having this subconscious that you as a black person, you must be down. Like you must be like you said, carry the load is wild, bro.
It's wild.
Like, it's so like, I think, do you know what? I know it's among us because I hang around people that are like, obviously, like that's not our mindset. As soon as it comes back around me, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. You're
like,
right.
do you understand? It's not of ignorance. I know it's there, but when it really is so important to move with certain mindsets, bro, because when that comes, it's just like you see it straight away. It's so clear. It's not muddled. Like you see it directly. You see where it's come from, what it stems from, what it is, and you could just reject it. So where you put your energy is so important because, like I hear what you're saying, bro. And you were saying a lot of that, but the questions kept on coming back to. Therefore, I don't think that you're answering to them. Black love equates to the eradication of me. Like, I don't think that thing kept on coming back up. And I don't know, that, and also I noticed that for me, it was like the rankings. So, like how in leadership you'd want to see a black person, a black woman in leadership positions, and they'd be in black relationships, and so therefore as a default you wouldn't necessarily see a person of mixed heritage in any type of leadership. I know that was one of the things that kept on coming up as well.
Look, the truth is, the heavy lifting has to be done by the black man or woman who's married in, and the community they're married into. The words I'm going to be using from now on, when it comes to either pro-blackness or black betterment, is complete or casual. So I practice the complete version of black betterment. It's complete, yeah, as in everything is there, right? Not the casual. But what's happening? You want white belts or casual members to represent black, the direction of black people with one foot in, one foot out. But that can't. That makes no sense. Like, you wouldn't go to a dojo if the master was that way inclined. You go this.
You wouldn't
We
take
were,
it
we'll
wouldn't be
take
authentic.
yeah,
And,
yeah. It's like this concept is for the betterment of black people. Why are we
why would
spending?
you not have black people? What the hell
Yeah,
with it? It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's mad. It's absolutely mad, right?
And the fact that you have to break it down to somebody who, like you said, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, is wild, bro. No one else has to deal with this. Is what I'm saying. The biggest weapon they gave us was confusion. Like, I'm
Yeah,
telling
you're
you,
right.
like,
But the solution, yeah, you're right, sister. But the solution, one of the solutions that we're pushing forward, and this word of open door elitism, very handy because they were using that in the direct messages as well. Like, oh, this open door elitism you're talking about. I forgot what she said. Well, she said something, and I said, that's what it is, isn't it? It's like those who are most dedicated are going to lead. I mean, that's how it works in all industry.
I remember I had to comment at one point, like, what, there's a problem that we have standards. So I thought
Yeah,
that, like, I
yeah.
was just like, this is wild. Like, we really are, like, we need to stop this image of just, we'll take your weary, you're poor, you're broken. You're
You're
like,
right.
we need
You're
to
right.
stop this, bro. Like, the
What you're saying is correct. And I started that movement when I was going on the Speaker's Corner kind of tour, whatever. When I was talking to the black men who are fighting to not marry black women, and I said, yeah, well, was it brothers in genetics, not brothers in ethics, and know you are loved, but we're the open door elite, and everything we do is for the furtherment of black people. So you're not part of that, and there's nothing you're saying. And I challenge you to say something constructive about black people. It's like it's very. But what I'm saying is letting them know that you love them, but they're not part of the elite is important. When you do that, that's when they start. That's the wake up call. Like, we love you, we have love for you, and we know why you think the way you think, but we're going to be doing our thing over here, and you can't come in because you don't qualify. I think Cohen is that way. Yeah, you don't qualify. You just say like you don't qualify because in the exam of us speaking, you failed. You've got F because all you keep talking about is defending other groups from things they've done to us, right? And every time we give you examples, you say, "Oh, those are one-offs, so you can't do that." But that's just what it is, that's what it is.
My thoughts on this, I'd say to that brother Foster, if he's listening, like, I call him like my brother, he's a villain, like, he's just there listening, stroking his white cat right now. So if he's listening, I'll just say that, like, I think Foster's interesting, right? Because he was even saying that, like, there's a group, like, remember he was talking about, like, there's a group of people who feel this way, they've got their own group of mixed heritage, and he thinks that, like, I think he was saying stuff like that they should just form their own group. And I've heard this not often, but I have heard it's not the first time I've heard this. It's probably like the fourth time I've heard it, right? About like a mixed race group, right? Which is very interesting, right? Because in forming your own, you're separating while still having this entitlement to have a into another group. Now that's very Western minded, this entitlement, right?
Yeah.
So that was interesting, Brother Foster, and I'd ask you to kind of think of that as a black sister thinking of that, who has openly said that you're welcome in the community if you believe you're a part of the community. Right? So these are the things that is always on the back of people's minds, bro. Do you understand? But so that's one thing. And another thing is that this whole thing about, okay, black love, promoting black love, is because I listen to the stuff that I've not heard before, where I think a lot of the stuff yesterday was just confusion for me, and last week was just confusion and rhetoric I've heard before. With Foster, A lot of the stuff, some of the stuff that he's heard, he says I've heard before, but some of the stuff when he's truthful, we do need to listen. Like when he was saying about experiencing the most amount of racism, when we asked him to elaborate, I couldn't say anything on that, right? So when he's talking about, okay, because he said it in the comments, Raven, and he specifically came onto the panel and he was trying to highlight that to you when he came on the panel. But I think there was so much combat, and I think there was so much high anxiety. Like I don't think that kind of got through. And then obviously that's mentioned before, and then the last week another guy mentioned it, right? So I do think that this is an undertone kind of thing that they can keep pushing back on. But for me, it always goes back to mentality. Like I said, I could go to other people of mixed heritage who believe they're black and they would never say that this is not of them because they believe they're black. Really think of what you're saying here, right? If you're of mixed heritage and you identify of black, then you want the promotion of black, right? But if you're of another mindset, the promotion of black is not of you, and you can't, and you're not for it. Therefore, you are not for that community.
Yeah.
Like this is a whole heap of these people having to do their work on themselves. Do you understand, bro? Like in the nicest way possible. Just like we all have to do on different levels. Do you understand? Like no one's free from this. Like I'm not. I'm still a work in progress. We all are. But I'm saying I can still acknowledge it in other people as other people can acknowledge it into me, right? And if you're there talking about I'm black, then you want the promotion of black. You love blackness, like you love it. You're infatuated with it. It's intoxicating. Like when you see black love, when you see black skin, when you see how we celebrate, when you see how we look, like you love that. You want that. Do you understand? So if you're now saying that's the eradication of me, then you're saying that you're not black.
Yeah.
And so that's the same as an Asian person coming up and saying, well, you promoting black love means the eradication of me. It's not my business. You're not black. It's like a white person coming in talking about, oh, I don't like the promotion of black love because I don't get to step in and get my blackness, my little dip of blackness when I want it. It's not my business. You are not black. Do you understand? Like, it's mentality.
No, there's science to what you're saying there, man, and it is good. I think once again, I think this is a high trauma kind of conversation for those brothers and sisters. And once again, I repeat myself. Once they start saying certain things, I'm not in black betterment kind of like building mode. I'm more so in like trauma mode, as in this person's about to trauma dump some stuff, be well misinformed about everything, and I will automatically become the enemy and despised. Well, they won't admit it directly, but you know, their distrust for me will go high the more I start pushing. Well, we're consistent about black love or black economics or whatever it might be, right? Or reparations or this kind of stuff. But at that point, you know, people shouldn't think that I'm trying to convert or trying to find middle ground. I'm more just allowing a person to get to the end of their trauma experience. And I'm interested in this concept of having a white side who mistreats you and having a black side who rejects you. That's a good topic to have, and that's why I hear from all three of the brothers and sisters that concept, right? And one thing
They all said that they felt rejected. I didn't hear the sister say that. I couldn't
yes, oh yes,
say that.
she said so. She was that this concept where they use the term we get it from both sides, and then and I was asked, is it the same kind of treatment? It was no. The Europeans, they hate us because we are black or we're black skinned, while the black or the African or whatever show a kind of resentment that we're given more favoritism behavior. You see, and I was trying to highlight that because this like for like is very dangerous when you compare black and white.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. But they were kind of conflating many things like for like. If they did it, would that be racist? And that's not why part of the campaign is to say, as black people, we have a different outcome, a different strategy, and white people are using white rightening philosophy. We're using black betterment, and it's not the same. There is no black for like.
Is that our business as well, though? If they're saying that they're going through that, and especially if they now class themselves as a whole separate group, yeah. So if they're saying that as of mixed heritage collectively, like there's there's hate from both sides, even though we know that there's intrinsic, like, literal racism, hate, that, and then there's hate from an oppression, like, you can't equate it to, like, what you're saying, right? Even though we overs that, is that our business? Like, if that's how they feel,
well, no,
that should be, if that's the undertone written for them, then should that be, because you know what, I never want to be, like, for myself personally, and I think I just never want to be like the people that we're trying to be free from. Like, honestly, bro, like, I feel like the arrogance and the just the arrogance and the need to think that you should just be the entitlement, and the thinking you all knowing, and do you understand, and the always dipping your nose into other people's, like, I don't want to be anything associated with that. And I think, especially if we're brought up in a Western nation, we can have that aura because we're just brought up in that culture. Do you understand? So I feel like if they're saying that that's what they feel, then fair play, especially if you're going to say you're a separate group. Like, if that's what it is, and that's what helps you deal with your thing and helps you drive your thing and move your thing, then that is it. Like, I'm not going to, like, is it, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do oppression Olympics or break down their oppression. Do you understand? Because we've got our own. Like, I literally feel like, do you understand? Or is that not, do you understand my mentality on that?
I understand it, but the angle I come from is tactics, and the tactics is training the black community not to react to the dynamics of white supremacy, in the sense of, if they praise light skin or dark skin or this kind of skin here or there, is to be separate from it. So, and one of the strategies is to not allow non-black people or mixed black people, whether it is biracial people, to have a get out of jail free card that they will use to undermine black Betterment. You know, so they'll stand up in the pie and go, "You talk about black Betterment, but all you guys are no different from the Europeans," right? It's like, okay, that does the like we're so aware of you being mistreated by the Europeans that we definitely are not going to contribute to that. So whatever you're saying, you have to demonstrate it, because we're on code here, and not being on code is, we're not going to mistreat you because the Europeans favor you, because our issue is with their behavior, not how they, not this. Like, we don't really care for favoritism. We're trying to do our own thing.
Yeah, but
so.
Okay, yeah, because I was just going to say, because we can go on forever on that, because but this is why I just look at it like, let them have it. Because if I break it, because if we can break it down, and like you said, it's like, it's foolishness not to be, I know we're trying to, like, I'm trying to not offend, but it is foolishness, bro. Because this is what I mean. So it's like, either let them have, I think we're both saying the same thing. I think, like, we
have delivery, and my delivery comes from public speaking. Right? And it comes from how people perceive things after something's delivered.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I don't want to come across is someone has dumped trauma, and my response to a potential member is, it's more so like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's more. So I want to be like, I hear that, and that's why I was saying in the conversation, I was saying, well, let us know your pain points so we can find a solution. I said, I kept saying that, right? And I think that's important, because here's what it is, right? I'm gonna let you know, and you know it's for free, yeah. Anytime black people do anything, come together to find a solution, it's heavily demonized. So you have to have a method that minimizes it, right? Yeah. And one of them is the visual of understanding, right? Yeah. Okay, I understand that, right? And now that I've understand that, here's my answer to it in a constructive way.
No, absolutely. No, you're right, and that's what I always say, bro. Like, I know my position. Do you understand? Because do you understand? And more and more you highlight why we, like, you know what I mean, you're a prize, bro. You know. So you're it's good job you're on our side, because I know my position. Do you understand? So that's why I stood in the comments. So but I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think sometimes when the way when you practice, like when you practice at this kind of level, you always realize that you imagine their cameras are always on you,
Yeah.
and it's never off. And they're gonna use the time you burped or you fell on the floor, whatever, as a way to undermine constructive
Yeah.
work.
100%
So
of you.
yeah. So what's a good video to see a black man talk to a biracial man, whatever, and the black man goes, "Get away," or whatever, and it's like that kind of stuff. That is then used to see, are these guys really about constructive work? And
Yeah.
then they
See, I
build,
told you. I
yeah,
know.
you see, and that's why, and
But I do. But we should highlight, bro, that the
it's
the
not the same. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And that reaction stems
that's
from
the
black.
response.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
let me show you this. When the sister was in talking, I see it as a pattern straight away. Nothing. That's I even asked in the text. Can you describe something I'm saying that doesn't work in black people's collective best interest? And there's a pause, and I go, "You are aware on the Black Betterment Broadcast, right?" And then there's a pause and then they go straight to the comments. I'm offended by what L1B has said here. You see, and that's what's whenever you're actually making some kind of ground and they can't get out of jail free card. A person, that's what they look for, that kind of, oh, this is actually negative. They try to conflate the perceived negativism, whatever, from a comment in the philosophy. You
Yeah.
see, and so I can say, like, the people who promote the people who get their highest converts in religion isn't the ones who can really learn all the words and really learn the kind of stuff. It's the people follow their life and go, that I want to be more like him or her. You see, and him and her is this religion. So I'm going to be that because I want to be like them, and if it made them like that, I want to be that way. Rather than someone with great quotes here and there, it's how you are seen, living, and communicating.
Yeah,
I think
but
when it
that's
comes
the
to your
gray area.
stoic talking, every black member, I want to hear your struggles, isn't it? And I want to get a point where we can get to the end of what you're saying and then unpack it. But sometimes it triggers people when the words are said straight away. Like, you got to correct this person. She said that blacks and white people are both black people, white people are both racist, whatever. It's like, okay, we said so. Let's unpack that.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. But
Yeah, family, we are the black. My machine's talking to me now. There we go. Yeah, we're the Black Betterment Broadcast. We were covering black economic support, and there was a brother, and we have to do it more next week. And basically, we've kind of gone on more sort of colorism topic, which is a very important topic, and shadism. And that's another thing. So that some people might not get what I'm saying about the colorism and shadism, right? And that is, this is the tactics I'm dealing with when it comes to why colorism and shadism might be two different things. As in, using colorism to describe when the lighter you are, the more favorable, and and the more darker you are, the more you're mistreated in certain circumstances. While when the opposite is happening, we use a different term, and then the focus isn't the so-called bigotry. The focus is the motivation, meaning someone is trying to do something constructive for the collective, and someone is using their skin tone and the lighter skin tone to stop them.
Yeah.
And the perfect example of that is I mean, you can use when Caribbeans might want to promote Pan-Africans. I've seen it in Speaker's Corner, and even though this ain't shadism, well, I'm just using an example. They'll go, "Oh, you'll be a Caribbean," or even more, if you're a light-skinned person and you go, "We need to come together," they go, "Yeah, but you're light-skinned." Would you know that kind of stuff, right? So you're connecting that kind of dismissal from a standpoint that someone is trying to do something for a collective good, but you're trying to dampen that collective good by the phenotype of that person, right?
Yeah.
So
But
rather than change,
by insinuating
yeah,
that they're either not from the community or don't have an in the to be a part of the community, like that needs to be a part of it as well, because that's the kind of insinuation, isn't it? Like that's all that boils down to. Why are you talking on the thing? Because aren't you this, or don't you have this, or the where they're therefore saying that, you know what I mean, you're not. So yeah, that needs to be a part of that as well. But yeah, I agree. I'm glad that there's, you know, I've noticed for a while that, you know, there was a point where I think a girl tried to say that she was dealing with colorism, but she wasn't dealing with colorism as such, because colorism has its own bracket. There's a meaning to it. And I think shadeism is, yeah, I've heard shadeism before used in regards to what you're mentioning. So yeah, I think that's, I don't have with that. I think it's good to start breaking down these terms. Is so necessary, because once you've put a word, a title behind it, it's now a thing that we can talk about, you know. But
Yes.
when you don't talk about things, I think that's how, especially in like Britain, because they're not overt, they're covert. I think that's how they've gotten away with a lot of their microaggressions against us, because
Yeah. Yeah.
they're things that you can't necessarily prove, or there's not what I'm experiencing right here. I can't put a name to it. There's not a title to it. And so it can cause like gaslighting, or people to say, well, what are you talking about? And
Yeah. That what you're saying there is quite important, because that's triggered a thought, and that is what motivates everything. And that is we're going to unpack some comment section I'm in at the moment, where I'm getting a lot of views from Europeans about reparations. But what going back to the colorism thing, what you'll find is if you allow reverse colorism, all shades of colorism to represent colorism, the people who are worst affected by it, the darker skinned person, will be ignored, and colorism will just be about the experience of the light skinned person, right? And this is also when we see this concept of where black scholars were correctly defining racism as in white supremacy, right? What happens is Europeans go, no, racism is where there's prejudice, against any kind of ethnic group, whatever, right? Or whatever they've said, right? And that way, the reason they're doing that is because they're going to make black people racist. You see, their goal is, and when it comes to this reparations talk, in the forum, I've got probably 400 Europeans saying the Africans need to pay the Europeans reparations because we tried to stop slavery and they fought against it. This kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this is, or they go, oh, what about the Moors or the North Africans? They enslaved the Irish, or whatever, by the Italians by the banks of the shore. We want reparations. This is what they do. So they'll everything you claim, they'll try to reverse on you, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you need to have very fixed. That's why Black Betterment really is a blessing, because Black Betterment is black people helping black people on black issues, and it can only be within the group, within that collective. And whenever it's out of it, because what will happen is you will get a non-black person who will be the head honcho in Black Betterment. By the rule set of the lifestyle, yeah, by the rule set of the lifestyle, that is not what it is.
It's like they closed Tyrone, right? Where, do you remember where the chicken owner was white, and you know the movie?
All that, all that kind of stuff.
All of that.
But what I'm saying is
hip hop, right? Hip hop's owned by white. It's like saying it's not. It's happening.
There's a big argument going on in the States at the moment about the funny enough, the creation of hip hop, and the issue is where they've made documentaries talking about how it's founded, and I think it was the role of people who were not from African American backgrounds in it. But more importantly, what I'm focusing on is Puerto Ricans, and there's this big pushback that the African American community say no, it's African American culture, and the Puerto Ricans say no, it's made 50-50.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
no
you see,
way.
And what's happening is, and the reason why this is important is this proximity to whiteness, in the sense of Puerto Ricans will look at a dark-skinned Puerto Rican and say Puerto Rican, but then they'll use that to get the European Puerto Ricans in to then have European Puerto Ricans be the face of something, right? And this is how white supremacy kind of works. You see, namesake connection.
I feel like hip hop is finally getting it. Like hip hop. Like I just feel like it's going through its battles that it constantly ignored. Like they ushered in this problem, bro. Do you understand? Like they let everything in, and now I feel like what's happening with like Drake and that kind of conversation. It's like they're it's like these rappers like Kendrick, for example, like he's looking around, he's like, this ain't hip hop, like these people are not, what is going on? And it's like, rah, did you not see it coming?
Yeah.
Like now they're just like, it's like Drake, they're not like us. It's like this conversation now with now you've got Puerto Rican, so it's 50-50, like the rewrite of history that's happening. This is all happening. It's just, for me, it's just like there's certain people that the last few of them who are still in hip hop, who are looking around and they're just like, damn. Do you understand? Like that, it's like the realization. Do you understand? And I think like if you look at hip hop as an institution, it's exactly what we're trying to say. We do not want. Do you understand, bro? Like as black men, what we're trying to stop, like something as beautiful and as authentic and like roots based as hip hop as it what it was. Do you know what I mean? And then to what it is now. That it's like if you can't see that, if you can't see the errors and the always letting people in, the same thing we're getting thought about now, you know, the same mentality that you're talking about now, or we're talking about now in regards to black betterment is, and then we look at hip hop and we're talking about protecting gatekeep.
Yeah, very important.
Ours. If they did that, it wouldn't be what it is now.
Yeah.
No one could ever come up and say that it was 50% another culture. Ever, if we gatekeep it.
It's a lot. Yeah. So there's that argument going on. There's a lot of cleaning up going up in America. I've noticed like there's certain people get together.
There is a shift that's happening.
Yeah, you can't take things too far. It's like they've gone way beyond the point of no return. So there has to be a pushback, and I think especially with the whole, you know, mistreat. Like I think that we'll talk about another time. But there's a lot of funny business going on that they're correcting. But family, we're at the 12 a.m. mark now. But we'll next week we're gonna have the Black Economic Support. The brother who was attacked, we didn't get to really finish his stuff, but it's an ongoing thing where he was attacked outside I believe it's an Asian store, and his wife was pregnant, and she was also attacked. And they're rallying people to come together to.
And the boy stepped in to protect when his pregnant wife was getting attacked, and they attacked the young boy. There was a young boy, like, and this is why I want this. Like, I'm glad that this story is getting highlighted because there's so much in this. Like, when we're talking about not being a bystander or like just recording, or you know, this young youth had a lionheart spirit and saw what was happening as a child and stepped in. And like he got attacked as well, nose bleeding, all sorts. You know, the wife got kicked in the back. They got hospital records. You know, so this all happened, and that they've had 2 protests thus far, and I think the third one is at the end of this month. But it's more about I don't know if it's necessarily a protest or a meeting in regards to collectively moving forward economically now. So they're not protesting, they're actually, well, I'm glad that they're protesting. I'm not one of them people that have a problem with protests. So they're protesting, which is great. They did a second one to show that they're not just doing one and they'll get forgotten about, which I think is great. And now the third one, they're talking about what are we going to do moving forward economically in regards to businesses and things like that. And I think it's in Birmingham. So if anyone is there in a facility near around it, it's at the end of the month. But I think, what's his name? DJ, what? Is it DJ?
Oh, I wrote it down, but it's gone now.
Yeah, you could get the name. You could just put his name into Instagram or YouTube, and you'll be able to get all of his details. Or is it DJ G, or let me see? I've got it somewhere. One second.
See if we can find it for us. You're on my phone. You're clicking on trying to find Eric. It's not Warren G, is it? No. Yeah. No. No, it is. He's DJ. Let me write it. This is his Instagram.
Yeah, brilliant.
I think he's called. Hasn't that name already been used? Oh, DJ Warren G. I'm gonna put the at as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we've got different ones. It says DJ Warren G.
Okay, go for that one then.
Did I post it? Where's it go? Oh, it is post. Post? I think it posted.
It starts with a DJ. Just put the rest.
Yeah, I'll put it there.
Put it in.
We'll be following this story because it's important what he's doing with the black economics and the protesting and the awareness. It's something we should do more consistent all across England.
Yeah,
Well,
I think.
but the thing is that's why that's why I suspect this brother was raised among some kind of consciousness. I'm assuming. There's also yeah, I won't go. I was going to talk about economics and stuff, but yeah, no, it's important. We need to have teachings and constant reminders of the direction the community should go down, really, and this is important. Yeah.
And what he's doing is, yeah, I would literally, I do think that, yeah, there's an argument to say that it happened to him, right? Fair play, but he's cool, and it happened to his wife.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have this individual kind of mindset, but to me, it was a disrespect. Do you understand? I don't. It
yeah.
was a parking space or whatever.
Mm.
Um, he's with a visibly pregnant woman. It's
This
one,
is it. This
and
is that.
they it wasn't just one as well. This is what I'm saying about community minded, right? So it wasn't one shop, that he owns a few shops, so it's like a group of men come up to him, and then other men come from different shops because he owns other shops and jumped in, because you're talking about an attack on a man, a grown man, attack on a pregnant woman, and then an attack on the youth. So this ain't just one or two people attacking these people. So, and it was all kind of even at the protest they called I don't talk monkey, like
Yeah.
all bright, just like, so I don't understand why this is not getting more push, especially because this isn't like, I don't feel like it's a one-hit wonder. I don't think it's like going out and then we're just being quiet. Like, they've done a second one, they had a good, and I want to give them their ratings because I'm not in Birmingham, right? But they had a good turnout for the first two, from what I've heard. Like, people saying that there was a turnout, even the Hebrew Israelites apparently were there on the last one, right? So, the black community there are doing their bit. And now the fact that they're now doing a one where they're actually talking about community and economics, I think that is brilliant. Anyone who can get up there or is interested in things like that, or can, should definitely try to get up there, because I think if you do it by next week, it might be too late, because I think it's happening next week. So that's probably why it was good that you highlighted it today. I think it's next week. I think it's the 24th. I've got literally next week in my head, family. So I think it's the end of the a week. So it's either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's good. We're gonna follow it more. I'm definitely following both. And like I said, reaching out to the brothers is important. I'll see if I can do that. Offer some assistance. Also, if I forget, the sister we covered on Sister Space, who was assaulted in a sexual way by her therapist. I think she won the case. We might cover that next week. So I think she's won the case. So I'll find more about that, which is good.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. So we'll cover that as well. But anyway, family, we have to go. But Empress Kush, any
Yes.
last words to the family?
It's just another great show, bro. I hear that we're coming into, is it our 200th show?
Yeah. We need to find what we want to do for that. So any ideas, let me know, because it comes so quickly before you know you're there, right?
Yeah.
So we'll try to get everyone on or something to have maybe we should talk about the journey. That's what we should do. Maybe a show like that. I guess, but let me promote it now. Go. Everyone who's been regular.
Do
Yeah,
that, and maybe get some clips from some,
yeah.
some times, we've had on there, and reflect back. That would be good. And even just talk about like where we're at, like have some conversations, like where we were at one point with thoughts in regards to certain things, and how we've modified them, because I think that that's also important. You don't want to sound preachy, and self-reflection is good. Do you understand? So I think that would be good, just for each of us to talk about, and some things we might still believe, some things we still stand on, but I think that's good, So yeah, 200 is a big milestone, bro. So, although most of us have been here with all the journey and stuff like that, it's you that has to get up every day, think of the title, show up, and click live and turn up. and be here consistently. You know, from memory, I think you've only not come on once.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you know, for the family, put that in perspective when you think of milestones that we all celebrate in everyone's life, and work balance, life schedule. You know, the consistency is important, bro. You know, for real ones, we see things like that. So I know you're not at the 200 yet, so I'll hold my words for you. But yeah.
But yeah, I'll say this, that the
yeah.
support that the community does for the show, the behind the scenes and the stuff is priceless. And this is, it's going from strength to strength, so it's good. But we give thanks and a Black Betterment tool, and we'll continue this next week. Have a good one, family.